journalists, which I'm not, all over YouTube and all over the world, quite often regard this as one of the best driving cars in the world. Quite often it's associated with purity, a lot of racing history, and the Porsche name, you can't get over the Porsche name. Porsche have developed the 911 over 5-6 decades to perfection. This is the GT3 model. I've got Addy here with me today to tell us about his car. Let's see why this Porsche GT3 is so cool. Welcome back to another episode of MDTV, guys. Today's a really special episode because I've got Addy here and he's going to tell me about his Porsche 911 GT3. Hey Addy, how you going, man?
I'm good, man. I've owned this car for, I would say, about a year now. Owned a 991.2 before this. So always wanted to get a GT3. It goes back to just my time I've spent in London before moving to Australia. So I was working in the financial services industry over there, and it's very common to see a 911 somewhere in the city of London Park. And me just trying to get my bus or trying to get to my underground. The office that we had over there, heaps of ones parked at Mayfair Street over there looking at 911s as well. I always had an affiliation to getting one of these. 2.5 years ago when we were trying to secure the car, we were sitting at Porsche Panamera. We had a 992, just a plain 911. I was about to sign the paperwork, not very happy about it, and the missus looked at me and she's like, "What's going on?" I was like, "I don't want this car, and I'm just buying it because it just fits." And she's like, "What do you want?" I was
what
like,
a first world problem though, man. You're deciding between what Porsche to get.
Yeah, man, it's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah.
And at that time, talking to the wife, and she was like, "What do you want?" I was like, "There's one in Gold Coast. That's 991.2 GT3, silver color. That's the one I want." And at that time, the 992, they were just so overpriced because of the pandemic. I just didn't want to spend that sort of coin. And we ended up getting that car. I had it for 11 months, and the itch came back. Oh, prices have come down, and then finally I managed to secure this one, which I love, and I've only tracked it once. I'm supposed to track it a lot more times. Love the color, the chalk grey color. Always wanted this color because I saw it on a track day in a Taycan, actually.
Yeah.
Funny enough.
Right. You said that you had the 991.2 versus the 992 GT3. What's the biggest difference between the two generations for you?
So it's funny, spec-wise, I got lucky that both the cars were very similar. The 991.2, I would say, was a more raw sort of a car.
Really?
As compared to this. This one has more tech and more like the nose lift system that this has compared to that one. It's GPS tagged. If you go over humps or bumps, it just remembers. Then the sound was another big thing. So that car, it was so loud, the whole street could hear it.
Was this your first GT3?
That was my first GT3. And then compared to this one, when I went to pick, and then this one, I've added an exhaust to it because the original exhaust that it came with, which is the factory Porsche 911, it's not that loud. I think because of emission standards, they've added that feature of the engine on and off.
Oh, right. The start-stop. This has a start-stop?
This has a start-stop.
Oh, no way. That's so annoying, man.
It is absolutely annoying.
Is there a way where you can just take out the fuse to...
Not really. I haven't tried to fudge around with this car too much. I don't know, and I'm scared of German cars.
Yeah, you do one thing and the whole car just goes cactus on you.
There's so many electronics in there, so just to mess about with it. I've driven this car a lot. I think my longest drive with this car has been from here to Canberra.
And has it been comfortable and everything?
Comfortable-ish.
Okay.
Obviously, it's got like bucket seats, and it's very raw. It's a track-focused car.
Yep.
Obviously, you can get a touring version of it. I never wanted a touring version of it.
Got all about that big wing, man.
All about the big wing, man.
Yeah.
I wish I could get a bigger wing on it.
Right. And the car is beautiful, man. What color is this? Is it a PTS kind of color, or is this a standard color?
This is a PTS color. It's called chalk grey, and you have to select it as an option, and then you can spec more things around it.
Let's start off with some features of the car. And I think we can start off with the front because the front looks beautiful. I love the nose, the updated front bumper. It's just so different even from the regular 992, 911. There's all these functional vents at the front on either side going to the wheels, and just next to the emblem on either side, there's some holes and ducts to push air through it when you're on the track to add some downforce to it. That's so cool, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, those are some cool features. And the vents, these vents are slightly different to the 991.2. These are a little bit more wider. There's one other funny thing as well, that if you are driving the car in like a lot of rain, there would be steam coming out of
you'd
it.
see it. Yeah, you would see it if you're going fast, hey.
Yeah, if you're going too fast, there's steam coming out of it because
Yep.
the rain hitting the radiator.
Wow.
And the steam coming out of the vents, which is cool to drive
Yeah.
with. They've changed the lights a little bit as well.
Yep.
In this one slightly. A lot of the Porsche enthusiasts that I have met on track days, or other people that I've met generally on like coffees and cars and everyone, they keep on telling me that owning a Porsche from one gen to another, it's like they keep on making these incremental changes.
Another part of the front end is the front suspension. For the first time, they changed it from a McPherson strut to double wishbone at the front end of the car. And from what I've heard, it's derived from the 911 RSR Cup Car. And did you notice a massive difference on the track going from the previous generation to this?
I have, and one of the things you will notice is that going around bends and corners, it just handles a touch better. And again, it's one of those incremental changes, things that it wouldn't go out of control that much as compared to the previous gen. And it's funny, the day we tracked it, one of the friends had the older GT3 and his is the same color, and I had this one and same bends, and his was like a little bit out of control and mine was in control.
Yeah.
On the same day. Could be any other reason as well, but and we have swapped cars as well, and driven it. But I think having that extra bit of grip, you feel it when you're going at those speeds of 200 plus around a bend. The inertia in the car is just, for the feeling for the driver, it's just absolutely insane in something like this.
Right, and would you say that the front end is more pointy, so there's less chances of snap oversteer with this compared to the last one? Is that what you're trying to say?
I would say so, but again, the difference is so slight.
Yeah, only a professional racer would know. Hey?
Yeah, so you and I honestly wouldn't be able to tell. The track days as well, it's funny that the ones that you do over here, so I've done with Porsche South Sydney over here, they have professional Porsche drivers there, and if you would ask them politely, they'll jump in the car with you.
Yeah.
Okay, they'll put you in the passenger seat, and then they drive. And I kid you not, you want to sit it with one of those professional drivers and get actually the feeling. I've been told off in the first session I've done on the track day because I was driving it so politely, and he's like, "What are you doing?"
Go faster.
Yeah, he was like, "Go faster and just gun the car."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "We have designed the car for you to like smash it on the track.
Yeah.
We haven't designed it to be, cute with the car." I've been told off on like day one of driving it on the track with them.
Oh man, that's so funny.
Yeah, it was the funniest thing I've ever been told. He's like, "What are you doing? Like, drive it like you mean it."
Dude, that is funny, but it's good to see that Porsche loves seeing their owners push their car and drive it the way it is.
They encourage you.
Yep.
They have like a small crew there to help you adjust tire pressures during track days, tell you a little bit more about your car.
Do they all come with center lock wheels?
They all come with center lock wheels, as per my understanding.
Let's talk about the brake setup. It's got, I think, 6 pistons at the front and 4 piston brake calipers at the back.
4 at the back.
Yeah, and what kind of brake setup does it have? Like, is it the carbon ceramic or is it the steel one?
So this is the stainless steel one, not the carbon ceramic. Not to put the GT3 down, but it doesn't produce as much power that it needs a carbon ceramic brake. But if this was something that was pushing maybe 850 horsepower, something like that, I would say, yeah, it needs carbon ceramic brakes. Feel that it's not in that territory right now. It's sitting at that 500-ish horsepower in terms of the power it produces.
500 horsepower, I was looking at it this morning before I came. That's about 380 kilowatts in Australian terms. But every year, the GT3 has 500 horsepower.
Yeah.
Next one's probably going to have 500 horsepower.
Again, yeah.
Do you reckon that's too underpowered, or do you think that is just perfect for this kind of chassis?
I think for this kind of chassis on the track cars, it's perfect. Porsche has a whole product line that they are always trying to sell us. So if they start pushing these cars to 600, 650, then we are not touching their Turbo and Turbo S category cars as an owner. So they're always trying to upsell you a little bit.
And I mean, with the GT3 anyway, it's not targeted at drag racing or straight line speed. It's more targeted at circuit racing and going fast around the corners. And
Around the corners,
just seeing some of those guys push this around the Nürburgring, Man, that looks crazy, hey.
It's insane, and the quickest I've driven this one is 280. So on that 280 speed, you will literally feel the car like going down and
All the
just
downforce.
handling so exceptionally well.
Yeah. With the new design of this wing, the swan neck wing, I was reading, it said this new wing at full attack mode, 150% more downforce than the previous
Than
car.
the previous one.
I'd imagine the front of the car, because of those vents and the splitter, it would feel just as balanced, so you'd feel the whole car go down right rather than the back more than the front.
Pretty much.
The position of the engine is mid-engine. It's rear mounted, so it's
rear-mounted.
way behind the
Way
rear
behind.
axle.
Yeah.
And when you first got into a 911, did you have any difficulties with the weight transfer going around a corner fast? Did you have to like brake in a straight line so the weight transfers to the front, or is it easy to drive?
I was just scared, man.
Yeah.
First time taking it around the laps, I was just scared.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I got told, like by the drivers over there, they're like, "What are you doing?" Because there's other drivers who are obviously going fast at the track who've been there, and I was in the beginner one as well.
Yeah.
Like they didn't put me in the intermediate or the high category, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I was just scared that I've never driven anything like that. But once you start taking more laps and you feel that the car can handle very well, and around the corners as well, it just sticks.
Business end of the car, man. Before I let you take over, I just want to ask, just underneath the wing over here, that looks like it's channeling air from the front all the way under there.
Yeah.
And that's a functional duct. Is that to push the car down?
It's to cool the engine.
Oh, right. Oh, because that's the intake as well.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
the intake
interesting.
as well. So there is cool air coming in. And compared to the previous gen, in the previous gen, this portion of the car could all open up.
Yes.
So you could see the actual air intakes going in.
Yep.
In this gen, they have
It's just a
closed
small
off
flap.
everything.
Yeah.
Literally, they've closed off everything. The only thing that would open is this. They
Yeah.
haven't given you access to the engine or anything. And to do the service, they literally have to take the whole bit at the back off.
Yeah.
And they keep the car for a week.
The center mounted dual exit exhaust that carries on from the previous
From
generation.
the previous gen.
Chef's kiss, man. It looks beautiful. Is that rear diffuser stock?
Rear diffuser is stock.
That looks insane, man.
The only thing that's not stock on it is the exhaust. This is a JCR titanium exhaust and with black tips at the back just to match everything, and it doesn't stand out. This sound I would say easily is on par with the 991.2. I think this one is a catback system. It's not all the way from the engine.
And it sounds that good. And it baffles me that you have to get an aftermarket exhaust to make this car sound like the previous
The previous gen.
generation. That must have been such a letdown for you coming from the two generations, hey?
Yeah,
Just wrapping up the outside, man, this looks beautiful. The outside of the car, especially the rear end, beautiful. Let's have a look at the spec inside the car now,
sure.
hey?
This is obviously the carbon bucket seats, so that helps take some weight off. You can also get it with the regular seats, but this is better. You've got the roll cage at the back, the blue theme that's from the outside of the car continues.
Beautiful.
So we have got the blue racing seat belts, the blue stitching, they call it the shark blue color. And then throughout inside the car, they've got Alcantara everywhere. Then the center clock is the same gray color as the car itself.
Right.
And then there's gray color over here.
These bucket seats that you've got, they're fixed buckets, hey?
Fixed bucket seats, they're slightly just adjustable up and down.
Oh, right.
Slightly adjustable.
And it looks
but
like it's so deep, so you kind of have your bum lower than your knees when you're driving, hey?
Pretty much, yeah. And then for me being taller as well, I've got it on the lowest settings.
Yeah.
To be able to get my leg in there. One other thing that I really like about GT3 compared to the 992 that they have. So in the 992s, the gear selector, it's like a plug. I don't know if you've seen
Oh, it
it.
looks like a shaver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like an electric shaver,
Yeah.
tiny one. Just in the GT3, GT3RS, 4
It's a
and
regular
4RS,
shifter.
they've left a regular one.
Yeah.
I prefer a regular one. I don't like that electric shaver thing.
And this is the PDK model, hey?
This is the PDK model, yeah.
And this does come in a manual, doesn't it?
It does come in a
That's
manual.
insane, man. There's this amount of like, to be pushing this amount of power and G-force in a manual on track,
It's insane.
that's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I noticed that you've got harnesses as well going to the roll cage and...
Yeah, it's the seat belts are at the back.
Yep.
Never get to use them,
Yeah.
barring track days. They look really cool. They
Yeah.
give me that Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift feeling.
Yeah.
One complaint I do have is if there was an easy option to put my phone somewhere where,
Oh,
where
yeah.
I could still access it. So they've
Yep.
added it in here.
Yeah.
where you can put it in here and just charge it and connect a USB-C cable in there.
Yeah.
Which is nice. But if there was a feature somewhere where you could just, I don't know,
A phone
mount
holder.
it. But yeah, barring that, not really. Everything else is done pretty nicely.
It sounds so good, man. It's so sporty, but it's so comfy, man. I've never been in a Porsche, but I've only heard about how fast the PDK is, and that is bloody fast, man.
So now we're in sport mode. So now this is in track mode.
That's not even going fast.
Yeah, it's not even going fast, so it's like 70.
That's beautiful. Oh, I can't. Those shifts are so smooth and
so
seamless.
smooth and so quick.
But you don't even feel it kicking you. It's so smooth. It's so fast, and it knows when you're gonna shift. Dude, we're not even going fast and it's getting me excited. That's so cool.
And it also, so once you put on the track mode, all of the gauges also change.
All right.
So, and you can adjust the gauges as to whatever you prefer. It
Oh.
will bring your oil and your
All the temps.
fuel gauges up.
Yeah. Do you drive this day to day?
I drive, not day to day, but I do drive this a lot.
Yeah. And it looks daunting from the outside, but
Yeah.
inside as a passenger, it's so comfortable. And I'm just noticing the red line now is 9,000.
Yeah.
Wow. Dude, around these twisties, I'm not even moving it, man. The car is hugging me so well.
It just goes like super
Wow.
nicely. So we can do like a quick one here.
Yeah. Oh, that's tight. And the downshifts on this are insanely
Insane,
quick.
man.
And it sounds amazing. It's a bloody symphony, man. Oh, that sounds, oh, dude. Oh, that was enough to, get us locked up, but it didn't feel like it.
No, it goes up, down very quickly and doesn't get out of control. Like
Yeah.
I never feel.
I can feel the difference in the dampening. There's a little bit more roll in the back,
Yeah.
and when you're turning, I could feel a little bit more body roll. It's lifting on the inside a little bit more when the weight transfers. So I can definitely feel the change, even at low speed in active
Yeah.
damping. It's so interesting. But also just that after you switched it there, the downshifts weren't as aggressive.
No.
Yeah.
No. And the engine braking is also not as aggressive. On the track mode is when you can really hear the engine braking.
And the engine braking sound, when you're like going at speed, it's so scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
It just goes run, run.
First few times, like when I first time trying the car, it
Yeah.
was a bit daunting.
And maybe it's because this was designed for, the Autobahn.
Probably.
At speed, it's so stable. Can't hear anything shake, and all the trim pieces are well held together.
Well held
It's-
together. Quality wise, you
Oh my
can't
gosh.
really complain.
Yeah.
In
That's 2,500, and it sounds that good in normal mode. Thanks so much for coming out on the channel, dude. Yeah, really appreciate it. Follow Addy on his Instagram channel, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.
Cheers.
Thanks, mate.
See you, brother.